Earlier this year, we were lucky enough to visit one of the 7 wonders of the world, Uluru. And in this video, we're going to break down everything you need to know if you're thinking about visiting Uluru, from where to stay, what to do, where to book all of your activities and your itinerary, where to eat, and just everything, and how much to expect to spend as well.
Yeah, we did this one in 48 hours. It was probably one of the best experiences we've had in a long time. So make sure you stick around to the end because we're going to give you absolutely everything you need to know. Subscribe, like this post because we send out content like this every single week.
So we jet set off on a Friday afternoon from Melbourne. We got a direct flight all the way into Uluru. There is an option to fly to Alice Springs and then drive down, but we found pretty cheap flights. We got it on a Jetstar deal, and it was around $250 each return from Melbourne straight to Uluru, which was absolutely perfect.
Yeah. Now, if you're going to go to Uluru, you could go in June like we did, but it is a little bit cold, even though we did manage to get in the pool because the sun was out during the day. We would probably choose to go May through September. That is the ideal time where, the heat's not too hot, you're not sweating your sack off, but you're still enjoying. Abby didn't like that one, but we'll keep it in. But yeah, you'll still enjoy yourself, enjoy the heat and be able to enjoy the pool, and it'll be beautiful and sunny and clear at night so you can see the stars.
Just yapping on again. So I did get a few recommendations from a friend who had gone, and she went in January, and just be warned, it was boiling hot, and she said that she's never had so many flies around her. Like, she had to wear one of those Aussie hats with the gum nuts, like just swooshing them off, and she said it was almost unenjoyable. One, because it was so hot, and then two, because like the flies were absolutely rife. So the best time to go was definitely May to September. We loved going in June. It was really nice weather, and it was almost like perfect walking weather. And if you're going to Uluru, you're going to want to be doing some hikes. So we'd almost recommend, like, winter's beautiful, but it does get very cold at night. So even though it is the desert, even if it's hot in summer, it gets cold at night. So make sure that you bring both clothes. Yeah. So how do you get around once you're there? We tried to book a car before we left, and we arrived at the airport, and apparently we actually didn't book it. So it was kind of like a blessing in disguise, because I think the car hire for 3 days or 2.5 days was around $600 from memory. It was quite expensive, and that's probably because you do need a car if you're not interested in catching the buses, because you definitely cannot walk. You can't walk around. It's absolutely huge. So, and you can't like ride a bike or do anything. So there's two options. There's a bus that's hop on, hop off bus. Yeah. And that is a great option. We tried to go for the car, but when that fell through, there was a free bus from the airport to like the town, because it's just like this little community town, which is really cute. And then once you're there, there's like hop on, hop off buses that you can get that take you like throughout the day to Uluru and Kata Tjuta, which is also known as the Olgas.
Yeah, so if you want to book these buses, you book them in the town centre. So as you arrive into Uluru, there's, like what Abby said, the cute town centre. You can go book them there, and you can book 1, 2, 3 day passes, or just simple trips on the hop on, hop off bus. I think the 1 day pass is $120, and that'll get you to Ayers and Kata Tjuta. Or you can do the 2 day pass is like $170, and the 3 day is $220. So much more affordable, and these will get you to the sunrises, sunsets, during the day, and they'll pick you up, take you home, all of that. So best way to do it, I think.
Also, just a hot tip, if you're going in peak season, book it on the internet before, because we got there and on one day it was booked out. So, and that was low season. So I think in high season, it's definitely worth pre-booking all your tours, all your buses and everything before you get there. So the first night that we were there, we didn't pre-plan or pre-book anything. So we just started to wander around the local town and went for a bit of a stroll and watched the sun set on this like beautiful hill with all these people. It was really lovely. Then we ventured down to the Outback Hotel, like such a good name for a pub. I guess it's more of like a dive pub. Very Australian, very just exactly what you would picture on Uluru. And we loved it. It was so cool. We went in and you can actually cook your own food. So they give you, there's all these little different barbecues and you can choose what food you want, salads, veggies, meat, and you cook it up yourself on the barbecue and then you serve it. There's wine, there's beers, and there was live music. And it was just a vibe. It was almost like, it reminded me of like a camp center almost. Like it had the big long tables and everyone was sharing, and it was just, it was really, really fun and like fairy lights. So we would definitely recommend one night, put that on your list, to go to the Outback Hotel and have dinner.
So after a few beers the night before, we woke up in the morning and we did the sunrise tour of Uluru. So that was on the hop on hop off bus. They took us to a point. We went for a little stroll, found this big viewing point, and then we watched the sunrise, which was honestly spectacular, super beautiful, something you should definitely do. It's a little bit of an early get up. I can't remember what time it was, like 5 a.m.
Yeah, it was definitely dark.
It was definitely dark, and I think obviously it changes at different times of year. So we did that, definitely a recommend. Then what did we do?
So I think that took around 2 hours. Then we ventured back and we decided to hike the Olgas, or Kata Tjuta.
Kata Tjuta.
I can't say that word, but we decided to, so we spent the sort of mid-morning walking around the Olgas and through that, and then that was a really, really cool hike. And there's different levels that you can do, but I think all in all that took us around 2 hours, and you actually walk through all the rocks. Like you can, there's pathways through it, whereas Uluru, which we'll get to on our last day, you can only walk around. So they were pretty different. Personally, I actually liked the Olgas better.
Yeah, I'd agree. And, you know, they do have, like what Abby was saying, multiple different paths. But if you are fit enough, you can definitely do the long one. There's no reason why you can't. I think they make you feel a bit wary of doing the long one, but you're absolutely fine. There's nothing stressful or difficult about that walk, so go and enjoy it. But yeah, I agree. It was probably more beautiful than Uluru. Hey?
So on our second night, we were lucky enough to experience one of the most magical dining experiences that I have ever experienced. But we only did this and chose to do this because we had the extra $600 that we saved from the car, because we were on a bit of a budget this trip. This experience was around $800 for the both of us. It was $400 a head, but it was so worth it. So if you've got the extra cash to spend for this, it was phenomenal. It was called the Tully Wiru experience, and they pick you up on a bus and they drive you out to this like beautiful location, and there was only about 20 of us, I'd say.
Yeah, it's a small group.
Really small group, and you have canapes and champagne with like a live man playing the didgeridoo overlooking the sunset of Uluru to start with, which was amazing. And all of the canapes are from like the local plants and local food around the area, which was so yummy and so just, it was wonderful. And then you walk down like up a hill and kind of around a corner, and there's this amazing dining experience with like tables, and it's just overlooking Uluru, and it was just one of the most amazing 3-course meals that we've ever had. Dessert was phenomenal. The main meal was so good.
The beauty was that all the people working there were Indigenous. It was all about the local food and what you could get from the land, and so everything you ate had stuff from the land that you could harvest from around there, but also from different parts of Australia that they've sourced and brought in. So we tasted so many different things that we'd never tasted before, and honestly the food was incredible, and they were so knowledgeable. So every time they showed you something, they told you where it came from, what it was used for, who ate it, all those sorts of things. And throughout the night they were telling us all the stories about the different foods and the different local things that had been sourced, plus the wine. The wine and alcohol is free flowing and delicious. That was fantastic. And then the most beautiful part was at the end, where it got really dark and the stars came out, a blanket of stars, absolutely incredible. And one of the guys who was working there got his laser out and pointed out some of the constellations and told us the stories in the words of the Indigenous people. And I got goosebumps. It was epic, wasn't it?
Yeah. So if you want to book any of these experiences, head to ayersrockresort.com.au and there's heaps there. There's the Field of Light, Sunrise Journey. There's so many different ones that you can choose from, but also, like I said before, pre-book ahead of time.
Yeah, because actually that's the other reason why we missed out on the, we were trying to book the Field of Light and it was booked out during off season. So that is the most popular one. So maybe that's even better. So have a look at that, and we have heard fantastic things about the Fields of Light experience as well. So check it out.
But the next morning we woke up, this was our last morning, and we did another sunrise tour. And then we actually went to Uluru itself. So we walked around the entire rock. And so you jump on a bus, you can walk around, and we did it in 40 minutes, I think, something ridiculous, because our flight back home was at like 1 p.m. and I'm a stress head when we go to the airport, so I was like, we must be there early. So we were like lapping this, I was on a bloody mission. But you know, our recommendation would be to take your time and just enjoy it. It's really beautiful. It's a very easy walk because it's just completely flat. You can take a tour guide if you want to learn about the history around it. Otherwise, you can just go, you know, self-paced, self-led, which we do recommend as well. Yeah. And then you just jump on the hop on, hop off buses, and they take you back as well.
Some of the different tour companies allow you to hire bikes and ride bikes around there. I'm pretty sure at a certain location there's actually a bike hire place, so you can just ride the bike around Uluru, take your time. So if you got your family there as well, you can do that, which we saw families doing. Seemed like a lot of fun. But yeah, it was beautiful, huge thing, Uluru, and pretty impressive. We read some of the signs and learnt some of the history as well. And yeah, a really great experience.
I think you can also get segways.
Oh yeah, you can do a Segway tour around there as well. Yeah, we saw a few of them as well, Segway tour around there as well. They've got bloody everything.
Yeah.
Any type of wheel.
Yeah, and you can't climb it. You can't climb the rock anymore. So I think you used to be able to climb Uluru, but you're not allowed to anymore because it's sacred. So where should you stay on your trip to Uluru? We stayed at the Lost Camel Hotel, which was perfect, budget friendly. It's around $330 a night. It has a pool, a really lovely pool. The rooms were clean. It was everything that we needed. There are some motels that are a little bit on the cheaper side than that. Yeah. And there are obviously more expensive. So Sales Resort is the next one up from that. That's around $500 a night, which is lovely. I think it's 4.3 stars. And then if you want to go baller and you want to like really experience it and you've got the cash, there's this glamping and like luxury accommodation called Longitude. And that is around $3,000 to $5,000 a night, depending on what time of year you go. Yeah. I've had clients that have gone and absolutely loved staying there. So if you've got the cash, absolutely go for it. Yeah, send it.
Obviously, you can camp as well there. They've got campgrounds, so that's much more budget friendly. If you bring your tent and everything, go do that. But yeah, where we stayed, fantastic, perfect. What did we spend? $250 return to Uluru. Then we got the hop on, hop off bus. Once we were there, how much was that?
2 days.
For 2 days? $170 each. Then what we paid was, I think it was $40 or $50 for a dinner at the Outback Hotel. And when we went out for lunch, probably like $30 when we went out for lunch as well. Plus coffees, miscellaneous. You're looking at a lot of, who cares? 20 bucks a day, maybe $40 a day, whatever. But then we have accommodation. What was that? $330 a night. So 2 nights, $330 a night. And did we do anything else? Our experience, $400 per person for that experience. So all up, that cost us around $2,500 for the weekend, which is, I think, it's a fair bit of money, but if you think about it, the experience and seeing one of the world's natural wonders, it was absolutely breathtaking. Seeing the stars out there in the outback is an experience. It's unforgettable, I guess. And yeah, we would definitely recommend going and giving it a go.
100%. It's a once in a lifetime trip. You're probably never going to go back. Like, it's not one of those places that you will visit again. So definitely worth it. And of course, there are cheaper options. If you don't want to do a Tully Wiru experience, there are cheaper options there. You can also camp, which keeps it a little bit cheaper as well. And then, you can go to the grocery store and buy lunch. But all of that, there are always ways to save wherever you go.
Anyway, if you enjoyed this video and you got a lot out of it, we'd love it for you to subscribe to our channel. We send out these videos weekly or twice weekly. And show your support with a like, comment if you've got any questions. We're happy to answer. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one.